first poop after birth. Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas.
Singing for the holiday, the happy holiday. Singing for the holiday. Singing for the holiday, the happy holiday. Have a happy holiday.
Oh my gosh, so I hope you guys enjoyed day 1 of me video planning for Vlogmas. This is my first year actually doing Vlogmas, as I probably mentioned in that video yesterday. So if you haven't watched that video yesterday, head on back to day 1 to see how I planned out all of my videos for Vlogmas this year. This is my first time doing it, like I said, and I'm super glad to have you here. If you are new here, my name is Alana Hubbard. I am a working mom of 1, 32 years old. I live in the DMV area, and I have a little girl named Ariana who is just about 5 months old. So she's getting there anyway. So as I'm filming this, I'm super excited. I can't wait for you guys to kind of just come on this journey with me. I got a lot of really cool content planned for you guys for Vlogmas, and so I can't wait. But today's video is all about postpartum and pregnancy and all the things that people really don't tell you or don't mention, or even things that maybe I just didn't know about postpartum and pregnancy as it relates to getting ready for having a baby and then having said baby. So today I'll be sharing my thoughts on that. I definitely wanted to incorporate some holiday content into Vlogmas, but also throw in some mommy videos here and there to have a good balance of stuff. So the first thing that they don't tell you about postpartum and pregnancy is that you don't really get to see your doctor as often as you think. I thought that with pregnancy you automatically got to see your doctor as really more frequently than just like the annual. Well, it is more frequent, but it's just like, I don't know what, I had this vision in my mind that you would be able to see your doctor and speak with your doctor, and your doctor was going to be like all up in your grill, like a lot more than what my doctor actually was. And yeah, I don't know, that was something I guess I just was wrong about, or I had like a vision in my mind of how my pregnancy would go. Like I would get pregnant and then I'd be in the doctor's office like every other week. Nah, like you go for weeks, sometimes months without seeing your actual doctor. There are specific like milestones that you know come across, but unless you're a high-risk pregnancy, you really don't see your doctor that often. So that's something I didn't know. So the second thing that I didn't know was that it's customary, particularly in the US, that you do not get to see your baby via ultrasound very often, like at all. Like you probably get an ultrasound maybe to confirm the pregnancy, and then at the 20-week ultrasound for your anatomy scan, and then maybe like later on, like towards the end. But it's not frequent at all. And this kind of surprised me. I was not a high risk pregnancy, and so therefore like we really didn't get to see. And then on top of that, like we had to like you go in, you just hear the heartbeat typically, and make sure the heartbeat is nice and strong, and you know, they measure your belly maybe, but you don't really get to see the baby as he or she grows very often. And so that was really like weird for me. And I thought, I don't know, I thought you go in for ultrasounds every time you go in for an appointment. Usually it's like, what, you go in once a month, and then you start to go every 2 weeks, and then every 1 week, and then so on and so forth as you get closer to birth. And so like I was just very like like disenchanted with that process, because I thought with pregnancy that you would be able to see your child a lot more. I think I went for a private ultrasound because when I was pregnant with Ari, we didn't get a chance. Well, Tony wasn't able to come into the doctor's office because of COVID for the first, what I want to say, more than half of our pregnancy. And then towards the end of my pregnancy, they were starting to let partners and partners come in, and friends and family come in, like, but you only were allowed one person. But even then, like, we were not able to really see our baby, and I had to schedule like a 15-week ultrasound. I wanted to schedule a 15-week ultrasound with a private ultrasound place, because I wanted to see and know the gender of our baby. And so yeah, it was kind of sad, y'all. Like, I don't know, I was really disenchanted with the ultrasound side of things, because I felt like you would be able to see your baby a lot more than what you were actually able to. And I don't feel like you should have to be high risk to do that, but that's just my opinion. Number 3, your areolas. This may be TMI, but your areolas darken as pregnancy progresses, and then even more so after baby gets here. Apparently, I did some research on this, and apparently it is basically to help your baby to see where its food source is if you decide to breastfeed. And so babies only really see in black and white when they're very young, especially after birth. And like, in order for a baby to actually be able to see where food comes from and more easily, your areolas darken because babies like high contrast images. And so yeah, areolas get real dark. So just putting it out there. Number 4, and I keep looking down because I have my iPad. Y'all saw this yesterday in yesterday's video, but I planned out all my content. The days will seem really long. This is a postpartum one. The days are going to seem extremely long, but the weeks are going to fly. No one really tells you about the postpartum fog that you kind of go through when you are immediately done giving birth. After you give birth, like, the days are super long because you're changing diapers, you're doing feedings, you're barely showering, you're just in a consistent, like, around the clock service to your baby or babies, for the twin moms out there and multiple moms out there. And no one really tells you the fog that your mind goes into. 1, because you're sleep deprived, and 2, because you're consistently worried about what your baby or child needs and less worried about what you actually need. And so the days are super long, but there were many days when I was like newly postpartum that I really didn't know what day it was, because I was just like, I know it's noon, but I don't know what day of the week. So I just wanted you guys to know that, because no one really told me to expect that. And it felt like I was in a little bit of a time warp because I was just so like, like, I was so like moving. I was like moving so fast to get through each thing, get to the next thing, like, or getting prepared. I was washing bottles to get in preparation for the next feeding, which was 2.5 hours away. And then, you know, they tell you to sleep when the baby sleeps, but who really does that? Because you have to have clean bottles for your baby to actually, or you know what I mean? So I wanted you guys to kind of know that, because no one really told me. And if I can help just one person to kind of like get a little bit more prepared for what to expect, then I did my job. Okay, so number 5 is that your boobs are going to leak. And I mean, this may or may not be true for everyone, but I wanted to kind of share because it's something that happened for me, and I know it could possibly happen for someone else. Your boobs are going to leak at random times, so make sure you have like the disposable nursing pads, breast shells, maybe even like a haka or something to catch letdown should your boobs leak at a random time. I know that especially early on when I first started nursing Ari, I would get in the shower and the warm water like rushing over my chest would activate my boobs to kind of have a little bit of a letdown, and so they would leak after I got out of the shower. So after I got out of the shower, I would hurry up and put on a nursing bra and some nursing pads to keep myself dry. There were many days and nights where I would wake up with like a bunch of milk all over the sheets because my boobs were just boobing, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to kind of share that with you guys because it's not something anyone really told me. My doulas kind of had mentioned it, but I didn't know what that reality would look like for me because obviously everybody's body is different. But I wanted to share that with you guys because it has a potential to happen for other people as well. And I know there are other moms out there whose boobs leak or have leaked. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. Another thing that you may or may not know, or that I knew because my doula prepared me, but someone may not know this. Your milk as a new mom, as a mom that just gave birth, it doesn't even matter. You don't even have to be a new mom. You could be a mom that hasn't had a baby in a while, or this is your second child, third child, fifth child, 50th child. Your milk will not come in for 3 to 5 days, approximately 3 to 5 days after you give birth. So there should not be an expectation for you to have milk as soon as your baby is born. So I want y'all to know that because there was a significant pressure put on me in the hospital regarding having enough milk to give my child that I just birthed, when it's not. You're physically, your body doesn't produce milk. Your body produces colostrum at first when your baby's first born, but keep in mind that your baby's stomach is only like the size of a small raspberry, I think, when they are first born. So they don't need a lot of milk. So I just want you guys to know that it's not something that is widely shared, and so I know it's not widely known. So I wanted to let you guys know and put you on notice, because honestly, it's annoying to have people pressuring you in the hospital when you've been through, whether it's a C-section or vaginal birth. It doesn't matter what kind of birth you had. You've already been through a lot. For someone to also add the pressure of you breastfeeding and making sure you're producing milk in the hospital 1 to 2 days after you've given birth, it's ridiculous. And I want you guys to know that. It's easy not to be present when you're with your baby mentally because of all the pressures and expectations on you. And this is absolutely normal. I had a hard time being like mentally present with experiencing my baby at first, because I felt like, oh, the house needs to be clean. Oh, I need to cook something. Oh, I need to shower. I smell. I'm sweating constantly. My boobs feel weird. I'm sore. Are a lot of things going through your mind after you give birth. And even during pregnancy, where you're just like consistently worried about the next thing, consistently worried about, you know, whether or not baby's getting enough milk, whether or not baby's gaining weight, things like that. And I think that, you know, it's easy to kind of like not be physically or mentally present, I would say. Not physically, but mentally present. And sometimes it's very difficult to focus on one given moment, or just be grateful for the moment that you're in. I prayed for Ari for a long time, and now that she's here, I had a really hard time with just being present with her at first. And I feel like I'm getting back to like being more present now and focus on her now. But it was a lot of the time I was like, okay, I don't really want to, I'm gonna lay her down so I can go and wash clothes or wash this or do that, and you're missing really precious moments and memories that you can make with your child when you're not. So I would suggest, to combat this, I would suggest outsourcing some things, like accepting help whenever you need it, asking for help and not being afraid to ask and accept help. I go into this a little bit more later in the video. Postpartum can be isolating. That's another one. People don't really tell you that. Everybody makes such a huge deal about the baby's arrival, baby being born. How is the baby? What's going on? How's the baby doing? And no one really asks how you're doing. And I think that postpartum in particular can be very isolating, because you're just like, unless you got a bunch of friends who you had babies with, like around the same time as you don't really have too many people who are asking, you know, how you're doing, or what can I help you with? It's always about, oh, let me come and watch the baby. Let me come and play with the baby. Let me come and, everything is about the baby. And I think that we should put more emphasis and we should normalize taking care of mommy as much as we want to take care of and play with baby. And I think that it's really important to aid in moms not feeling so isolated and so alone and so by themselves, because, you know, even if it's just to take a nap or to shower or to just have some peace and quiet for a little bit, you know, it's very important for mommies to like have that time and also know that they're not alone. Another thing I want to say is to communicate what you need, speak up for yourself. And I think I touched on this in a previous point. If you want a nap, communicate you need a nap. Utilize your birth partner, utilize family members, friends. If you need something, communicate it. Don't be afraid to say you need a few minutes or an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours away from your child to like think. And I want to emphasize that because I think far too often moms don't speak up and say what they need and communicate what they need. And so people are not mind readers and they can't possibly know what you need if you don't share. So I think this is really important, and I really feel like it's also it leads to other things happening as far as just anxieties and depression and things like that. You have to communicate and share where you need things and how people can help you. And I think that will be key to you not feeling as isolated in my previous point. The first poop after birth. All I'll say is take your Colace and your laxatives to help ease that. I had a vaginal birth, and so that first poop after you give birth, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be because I had Colace. So put that in your hospital bag now if you're pregnant, because if you're watching this video, because you're sore after you give birth, you're swollen after you give birth, things feel out of place, and your mind, when you're on the toilet and you're about to do, you know, you're not gonna be in the best frame of mind to think about anything else coming out of that area of your body. I'll leave it at that. Everything takes a little bit longer. This is another point. Everything takes a little bit longer when you are, after you have had your baby. It takes a little longer to get out of the house. It takes a little longer for you to get dressed. It takes you a little longer to get ready, because the family unit as a whole has to be ready to get in the car. But baby needs a bunch of things in order to go with you. And so, and then you need a bunch of things. And then you got to time everything right with the feedings. And I know it's a lot. it's a whole lot, but this is normal and it's not gonna last forever. So I want y'all to know that. I wish somebody had told me this because no one told me. And I was like, I had so much anxiety in the first few like 4 to 6 weeks. And so much so that I did not leave the house with Ari by myself, because I was just like, how am I supposed to drive and not be in the back seat with her? How am I supposed to, like, timing everything with her feedings and timing everything with like poopy diapers and pee and things like that. Anxiety about like her driving in the car with me alone, like a lot. So I want y'all to know, things take a little bit longer when you have a baby, but then it gets a little bit better as they get older. I'm hoping, anyway, because it has thus far. I feel like the number one thing you should ask for postpartum is like a meal train. And I mean this to say, have one person bring lunch one day, have another person bring dinner another day, and then like alternate days and things like that. We had a lot of friends send us, I think for about 2 months, I would say a solid 2 months, we had people sending us stuff and bringing us stuff for like a long time after, because of the sleep deprivation. And the last thing you want to do is like cook anything. So people were bringing us home cooked food, people were bringing us, or like door dashing us stuff. And I told Tony that any friends of ours who have kids, we're gonna be doing that for them, sending them food, door dashing, Uber Eats, I don't know what the other ones are. What is it? Uber Eats, DoorDash. Like we literally were just like, you know what? We're just gonna send people meals, especially after a baby is born, because the last thing you want to think about is what you're gonna eat that day. And you need to eat. As a mom, if you're breastfeeding, you also need to eat. If you're not breastfeeding, you need to eat. So it's important to have like that option, those options. And you know, that's like my number one thing. Ask parents to be what their favorite restaurants are, get them gift cards for like the baby shower gift. Everything that people get is for the baby, but I feel like it's really important to also support the parents or the parent and get them gift cards for meals, so that you can like have that already kind of figured out. I really hope that this video was helpful. A lot of these things were things that I didn't really know, or no one really told me prior to either getting pregnant or having a baby, and I'm so glad I know now. And I will be paying a lot of this forward, a lot of this information forward, assuming someone is willing to receive it. And yeah, so that is Vlogmas Day 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, because I have amazing videos planned for the rest of Vlogmas, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.